I mean, it's amazing to be here in Hollywood and with such a big crowd of fans, with our wonderful cast reassembled and ready to watch. I'm seeing the film for the first time right now, so I'm very excited. I've heard great things. Yeah, it's a great privilege to get to be involved in a film like this with such a great group. Well, it's great when you have such a wonderful script from James, a very original and dynamic and fantastical world to get to step into. There was a lot to digest and a lot to work from. And then ultimately it was just about showing up across from Nick and Rachel and Nathan and Eddie and all of our fantastic cast, and that's when I sort of discover who I am as a character, when I see the impeccable, superlative work that all of them are bringing. Hopefully they'll be walking out talking about how much they love each other and how excited they are to hang out with their friends and maybe to get some stuff done. I want people walking out with that pep in their step, that little bit of energy. I think it's indescribable, but it shows up, I'll tell you that.
It feels wonderful. I'm so excited to finally show the film for the first time with everyone. So proud of everyone's work. But also someone just told me that this is where the original Superman premiered. So it feels right to kind of bring this new iteration of the story to the screen at the iconic venue. Yeah. James Gunn wrote a wonderful script, a really fun, dynamic script, wonderful dialogue. That's very heartfelt, and there's so much history between all the characters that we got to then root through and play and portray. So I was fortunate, these characters have been around for so long. You get to go through all the history of them and try and understand them from different perspectives, and then see what's additive to bring to this story. James Gunn's a brilliant filmmaker. He's so collaborative with all his team. He creates a really beautiful environment to work in that's fun, and everyone feels valued and creative. So that means that he can then bring all that energy into the screen and into this film and telling this story that's a hopeful, positive story. I walked out of seeing this for the first time and I felt like a cinematic wonder and just a joy for being alive and being human, where I was like, I just want to be good and share good, and that it made me feel very special, and also reminded me of like great cinematic experiences when I was a kid.
So much fun. It feels like we've been on this tour around the world and now we get to come home. I mean, Nick is the only one who lives here, but we are coming home back to the US. It's been an absolute whirlwind, but the reception's been so warm. It was a blast. I mean, James has spent so much time with these characters. He knows them inside out. He knows them far better than we do. So we knew that we were in really great hands with James at the helm. And he really insulated us from, of course, the pressures that come with taking on roles like these. We felt like we were making, in some ways, a very small movie, which obviously we all knew at the end of the day would be much different than that. He represents hope and goodness without question. And I think that's something we could use a little bit more of right now. Eddie Gepecki, who plays Mr. Terrific, and I were shooting a scene in kind of a complicated set. There was a little bit of VFX involved, and they spun the technical term for it, the VFX ball in our direction, and it had a mirror on one side, and Eddie gasped and grabbed my arm, and I thought something had gone wrong, and he just said, "I saw us in the movie," and got really emotional, and it made me really emotional. It just felt like suddenly we could see the magic of the movies in front of us, and it's just a reminder of what it'll feel like when it's all finished. And David and I haven't seen the movie. This is our first time tonight. One of the most fun parts is with the couple people we know who have seen the film so far, is that everyone takes away something different. I'm just excited after we all see the movie to spend some time with everyone and talk about it.
It's a long time coming, so it's relieving. I think that everything I do, I try to do, to create something special for the audience, to create special experiences for our cast and crew on set. today it's all for you guys, talking to you. It's for the fans, and then I'm going to sit down in the theater, and for the first time the lights are going to be down, and it's about me watching the movie for at least 2 hours, and experiencing it with my mom next to me, my wife on the other side of me, my sister with me, and really experiencing it as a family. And then I'll be back to you guys again after that. First of all, he looks like Superman. He looks like he's ripped out of the pages of a comic. Secondly, he really does have the acting chops. He's a really well-trained actor. He's an amazing comedic actor. He has comedic chops. He was able to deliver the fast-paced dialogue in the way I had imagined, and he's incredibly athletic. He's able to do all of the crazy stunts, because all of the stunts in this movie are almost all real. It's just him being hung up from wires and marionetted, and it's crazy, and it takes a lot of core strength. He's kindness. I mean, he's goodness. I think some people think of Superman as old-fashioned. Some people think he's too earnest, and I'm like, yeah, that's what we need right now. That's what I think we're all dying for. A little too earnest. I think we're dying for someone who's too kind. I think we're dying for those old-fashioned things that we loved, of just looking out for people in need, taking care of each other, and loving one another. And that's all he is. It's really simple. There's something for everyone. I think a lot of people love the flying action sequences. A lot of people love the love relationship between Lois and Clark. A lot of people love Crypto, the dog. So there's really something for everyone, and I haven't found it's just overwhelming one thing. And Lex Luthor, I have to say, a lot of people don't love Lex, but they see how amazing Nick is in the role, and he's pretty scary. We went up to Svalbard, Norway. So it's an island north of Norway in the Arctic. So it's freezing cold. It's 0 degrees outside. We had set aside 4 days for our shooting in case of bad weather, or set aside like 6 days for the shooting. We went up there and we did the first shot, which is the shot that some partially is seen in the trailer, with the camera coming down to David as he whistles in the snow. And I set aside about a half a day for that shot, and we're out there on the snow, and I'm like, action, and we did it, and it went perfectly, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we can move on. And then we got out of Norway in like a third of the time we thought we needed.
It's mind-blowing, and I'm so grateful, and my family is here, and the whole street is closed for us, and I used to live right there, and I'm so excited. So my character is Engineer, and she is, part of the bad guys, and so it's really fun. She is Lex's right hand, and she does all of the dirty work for him, which is really, really fun. And it was a huge challenge because, yes, it is a very physical character, but also she fights like in a very visceral way, so everything was highly emotional. It was so fun. His characters are very nuanced, and his stories are very nuanced, and they're not black and white. I feel like even Lex, he's not a villain. He has real reasons to do what he does, and real fears, and James is really good at making every character human, so you can see yourself there and understand those characters, and they make the story so much rich and complex, more like real life. He doesn't write villains or heroes. To me, Superman means hope and lightness, He manages to be a light in such a dark world, and he manages to find something to love in everybody. The audience is going to be talking about Crypto. They're going to want to adopt a dog. I really hope so, because that's so important. But I feel like they're going to have so much fun, and they're going to feel good about themselves, because the world can be such a dark place, and James manages to bring hope to all of us with this film.
It's pretty surreal. I mean, going into this, it's Superman, it's going to be a big deal, but then you see how many people are here and how much it means to all of them, and it's the most special thing in the world to be a part of. With James specifically, he's such a fan, first and foremost, of the material, and he has so much respect for it, so he brings such a joy to it, and excitement, but then beyond that, I think a lot of people, at least for me, you could get caught up in like the stakes of what we're doing, and the responsibility you feel to get it right. And James just immediately he's so supportive and encouraging of everybody. Like, I cast you for a reason. You do you. Whatever you do, that's Jimmy. And you know, if you go too off the rails, he'll get you back on because he knows the material better than anybody. And so he brings just an energy of like total freedom that made the experience so fun. And like, at no point were you aware of like, it could have easily been like, this is such a big deal, I'm going to freak out. But he made sure everyone just kind of had a good time with it. Ultimately, Superman and what this movie gets to the heart of, it's always been about hope and about what it means to be human. And this movie specifically, I think what it means to do the right thing in a world where it's increasingly complicated to figure out what the right thing is to do. And I was so struck when I read the script by the heart and humanity that James had found in it. I hope they walk away feeling hopeful. I hope they feel lifted up in some way. I hope they have a ton of fun. I hope they laugh a lot. And I hope they want another one. I hope they want to see more of these things.
Oh, this is great, man. Part of a very special franchise. I feel like I'm a part of a very special fraternity of men who played this role, and we had a great cast. It was so festive. That's the word that comes to mind. It's festive. James Gunn, he always keeps you on your toes. You know, he allows you to be creative, but then he also has his vision. You know, so that's the best thing about it. And to be a part of this DC universe is a very special honor. Superman means you have it within yourself to exercise your right of self-determination, and there's a part of your humanity that can change the world.
It's surreal. I got in. I arrived in the car and I'm like, oh my god! I'm so excited. I don't even have words. Let's just put it that way. So I play Eve Tessmacher. I'm Lex Luthor's girlfriend, and she's just a very bubbly, fun, girly girl. You know, she loves taking selfies. You know, she's a little bit of an influencer, trying to be one, and she has a powerful, beautiful, rich boyfriend, Lex, that takes her to all these cool places. But there's a little bit more than meets the eye. You know, James Gunn is a fan. You know, before he's a director and a writer, he's a huge comic book fan, and he loves Superman. So he's the perfect person to bring it to life and to really stay true to the comics. And that's what the movie. I watched the movie and I was like, this feels like I'm watching a comic book.
I mean, I don't know if you've looked around, but like, it's crazy. I mean, it's so wonderful though. I think it's the energy of the fans, and just like how much, I don't know, how much love you can feel tonight, I feel like is reflective of our little movie. This character I loved playing. I mean, he's like such a complicated character. There's a lot as an actor that's really rewarding. And working with James, I mean, it's the best. He's such a sweet guy, and he's so talented. And I think he has this great quality of finding magic in the movie. And I think that's because he cares. He has a lot of passion around Superman in general. Yeah. To me, Superman represents hope. It represents being a good person and standing up for what's right. And I think that's kind of in short supply these days. So I think this movie couldn't come out soon enough. This cast is unreal. You know, just from top to bottom, everyone is so magical in their role, and I don't know, I'm excited to watch it again.
It feels like a dream. It doesn't feel quite real. I'm from a small city in Canada. This is not reality for me, but this is certainly the way I dreamed my life would be. Certainly not how I planned it, but how I dreamed it. I play Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern, a Green Lantern. There's many Green Lanterns out there. If you have I stole this ring. Green Lanterns have one of these rings. They are the most powerful weapon in the universe. If you have a colossal planetary scale problem, you call a Green Lantern. There's thousands of them. If you get Guy Gardner, you're disappointed. You'd say, crap, that's the one? Damn it. What do I hope people walk away with is a good feeling. I think this movie will have you walking away feeling good, feeling joyful, and feeling hope. Here's the thing that James Gunn is doing differently with this. I mean, every iteration of Superman we've seen, it's the idea of what if that idea from the comic book world was here and real in our world? What James is doing is, what if we lived in that comic book world? And it's an entirely different entry point to a universe, and it's extremely satisfying.
It kind of feels like how I felt at the SNL 50th. I was just like, this is amazing. This is so cool. What makes James unique as a filmmaker is really just his like singular style. Like his characters are so fun and funny and weird, but also relatable, and they're like characters that we can connect to. Ever since his earlier movies, like you see his footprint on everything he does, and it's just a little different, and it speaks to that like that weirdness, that humor, and that heart that is really intact throughout the story. And it's not just like he doesn't just do like funny moments and like big action moments. He has like a real story built that draws you in from beginning to end. So he's really incredible at that. What Superman means to me is really that thing of no matter what, you do the right thing and you fight for just human beings and humankind and goodness. You know, like no matter what, you push and fight for the right thing. And you know, as a kid, I had that. I think we all like kind of had that example, and it's something we really need right now. So I think it's really come at a good time, and I'm excited for kids to have, you know, for us all to have that hero again. We all want to go to the movies and just walk out being like, whoa, that was awesome, and like see something that we haven't seen before and laugh and cry and just kind of be in disbelief at what we just saw. So I think that's what's going to be happening when people leave the theater.
I think he's a great Superman. I think he represents what Superman should be. He lives it. He lived it. And so I think people are going to kind of forget about all the jibber jabber online about this one and that one, this Superman, and he's Superman. David is Superman.
It's a thrill to be here. Superman's one of the great characters in all of history, and to be on this carpet and to play a tiny, tiny, tiny role in the film is an honor, and being here is a real privilege. It means a lot to me to be a part of this film and to support it, because I'm no gatekeeper of Superman. My family, like my dad doesn't have a monopoly on Superman. He just so happens that he was really good at it, and he represented what the character stands for in ways on and off camera for most of his life, half his life. And he resonated with so many, maybe billions of people, and for that to have stuck with him for his life and reflect on our family in such a positive way, it's meaningful to me to play a role in this and just be whatever part of it I can, and I think he would get a kick out of it. The way I've described it before, what James Gunn brings to anything that he works on is a whole lot of James Gunn-ness, which is maybe needs more explanation. I think it's loud, it's fun, it's colorful, it's subversive, it's entertaining, and it could only be done by him, and he did a great job. I think Superman represents the best of humanity, the best possibilities of humanity. He represents the ability to be a hero, not in the obvious ways of what Superman does, leaping tall buildings in a single bound, flying around, all that stuff. He does that, but more than that, he represents a level of humanity that is important to recognize and celebrate in today's times. I did get to visit the set in Atlanta with my fiance, and everyone rolled out the red carpet for us. They showed us around, gave us a tour, we got to meet everybody. And getting to see David in his suit was a trip. He looked great. I told him he had the seal of approval. And then afterwards, he walked off to take care of his, at that time, like infant daughter. And seeing him in his full getup, like cape and all, pushing a stroller so that she was rock off to sleep, felt like an all-American image in some way. It was a lot of fun to see that. And I kidded him for it. I was like, oh, even Superman has to have baby duty. That's a memory, I guess.